Welcome to NN Investment Partners Max 10, a series of one-on-one interviews with our investment experts in under 10 minutes. I'm Stephanie Broad. Thank you for joining us. Today's guest is Huub van der Riet, Lead Portfolio Manager for Impact Equity Investing at NN Investment Partners. Thank you for being here with us today, Huub.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much, Stephanie.
Now we have quite a few questions, Huub, so let's kick off and have our 10 minutes together start now. As an investment expert for impact equities, can you tell us about the investment opportunity in impact equity?
Sure. There's a significant opportunity. When we look over the last decades, then sustainable investments has developed from exclusions more and more towards do no harm, and now more and more towards companies that offer solutions for societal problems. And that is more, in a way, impact investing. If you want to make a transition to a more sustainable world, I think it makes sense for a lot of companies not only to be part of that, but also benefit from the growth potential with the solutions that they have for the societal problems that there are around. So this offers a good opportunity for not only companies, but also for investors. There are also challenges, however. One of the challenges that are around is that there are no standards for non-financial information. And we want to measure that non-financial information to make clear that the impact that we make has a positive impact on the society. And that is very relevant for impact.
So in this world where responsible and sustainable investing is becoming increasingly important and the types of investing opportunities are growing, how do you define impact equity investing?
Sustainable investing is all about doing no harm. Impact investing goes a step further. Impact investing is more about investing in innovative solutions that make the world a better place. So, on the one side, there's a societal impact. On the other side, there's also a positive financial return for the shareholder. So, a multi-stakeholder approach from this perspective. I would like to give an example here. The example is Arco, an education platform. And Arco is a Brazilian education company, and of course education is good for students to have a better prosperity, but at the same time the communities where they're in, they will also benefit if they have successfully finished their education. The shareholder also benefits because they make an attractive financial return. To see what companies qualify for impact, we use the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. These goals were introduced in 2015, and we introduced our fund 1 year later in 2016.
So could you give us an example of the kind of impact that your investments seek to create?
Sure. Renewable companies, they offer solutions because they bring down and reduce the greenhouse gas emissions significantly. This is an environmental solution. For a social solution, you could think, for example, of the accessibility and affordability of the healthcare system.
And you mentioned that achieving a measurable positive impact goes hand in hand with returns. So how does this work for the Global Equity Impact Opportunities Fund?
Yes, I think that's a very relevant question. I think there's a misconception right now in the market that it is hard to have and an attractive financial return while having a positive societal impact at the same time. Our process focuses on those companies where both is possible. So where financial return and societal impact goes hand in hand. In our investment process, we focus on companies that have a competitive edge, and with that competitive edge, they make an attractive cash flow return on invested capital, which is well above the cost of capital. These companies, if they grow fast as well, we call those kind of companies quality compounders. And these quality compounders are important in our investment process. The proof of the pudding, of course, is in the eating. And if you look at our track record since inception, then you can see that our financial return is well above the MSCI or Country World Index, which is used as a reference index.
So what are some of the other main characteristics of the Global Impact Equity Opportunities Fund?
We have a high conviction portfolio which is very focused and has only 45 holdings. About 2/3 of the portfolio consists of small and mid-caps holdings. About 20% of the portfolio has exposure to frontier and emerging markets. For the emerging markets, you could think of Brazil and India. For the frontier markets, you could think of Kenya and Bangladesh.
Could you explain how you select your holdings from the much bigger universe?
Our investment process is designed to select investments for clients who want to make an impact while achieving their financial goals at the same time. We have a database with 20,000 companies and we reduce it in 4 steps. The first step is quality screening. In our quality screening, we look for companies that have an attractive cash flow return on invested capital, which is well above the cost of capital. When we do this screening, we end up with 1,500 companies. The second step is the impact assessment. Here we look at every company, how their sales are aligned with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. After this step, we end up with 700 companies. Then we have the third step, the value chain assessment. Here we get the help from our analyst, our dedicated value chain analyst. And they help us to reduce our universe to only 200 names. Out of these 200 names, we select 45 names for our portfolio. And this last and final step, we look on the one side for attractive financial returns, and on the other side, the biggest impact. And that combination ends up in the portfolio construction where we think we have the best impact names for our clients.
Could you share some examples of the social and environmental solutions produced by the companies you invest in and explain their societal impact performance?
Sure. We have identified 12 solutions, and I would like to give 2 examples. For the environmental solution, I would like to give the example of Vestas. Vestas is a windmill operator in Denmark, and they save about 186 million tons of greenhouse gas emissions for their customers. And this is equal to taking off 125 million cars off the road. So a clear impact here. On the societal solution, I would like to give the example of Safaricom. Safaricom offers a financial inclusion with their app called M-Pesa. They help about 35 million Kenyan people, which is 2/3 of the Kenyan population, into financial exclusion. And now these people have access to utilities like water and electricity. The consultant, KPMG, has done a true value analysis for them, and they have calculated that their societal impact is 10 times bigger than the profit of Safaricom, and they are a very profitable company. This is a great example and a clear example of having good impact.
Indeed, and of course making an impact is really about just changing the way that we live our daily lives, and anyone, anywhere in the world can make a contribution. And I see, even though we've been talking for less than 10 minutes, your enthusiasm and your conviction is very clear. So how do you apply this to your personal life?
Well, I'm a Dutch citizen. I live below sea level, and for me it's very important to see those kind of risks. So from a personal level, I moved from the north of the Netherlands towards The Hague, and now I commute on my bike to the office. And I try to have a healthy life, eating fresh, locally produced vegetables, to stay fit and to feel well. From a professional level, I'm very proud and honored and privileged that I can put my capital allocation for the clients where I serve for towards those companies where I can make a positive impact while serving their financial return at the same time.
I can certainly imagine that. But with an eye on the time for today, our 10 minutes stop now. Thank you, Huub, for your time and this interesting Q&A.
You're welcome. It has been my pleasure.
Thanks also to you for watching. I hope it was just as insightful for you as it was for me. And hopefully see you again for NNIP's Max 10. Stay tuned.
投资一定有风险，基金投资有赚有赔，申购前应详阅公开说明书，投资人须知。